Heavy rainfall and devastating floods across Limpopo and Mpumalanga have prompted a large-scale humanitarian response. The South African government officially classified a national disaster following at least 38 confirmed fatalities and the displacement of thousands of residents. Let's unpack this further with Gift of the Givers spokesperson Ali Sablay. Ali, a very good evening to you. We saw those devastating floods affecting our provinces. As Gift of the Givers, you've been on the ground. We know that over 1,600 homes have been damaged. What's the situation like now?
The situation is still dire. The number of 1,600 homes have increased. In the area of Vembe, when our teams got in there on Wednesday, residents explained to our team was with the Honourable Premier the level of destruction and how they've been suffering without food and clean drinking water. The Premier has apologized at the delay, but it was unfortunate. There was no access to these villages. All the roads and bridges had completely washed away. The roads, special roads had to be graded for our teams to move in with that humanitarian aid. And going into that village, we could see the impact it had on the residents. Some of the homes completely destroyed and some partially destroyed, but dangerous for families to move in them. We do know that the Minister of Human Settlements joined the team as well. And our team have rolled out an excess of 2,000 food hampers to assist 2,000 homes, both in Mpumalanga and Limpopo, and a call came out for clean drinking water, and we took in trucks of bottled water into both areas, as water has either been contaminated or the water plants completely washed away. So the situation is still currently very dire. Our teams have moved into the Nkomazi area in Mpumalanga, and our teams will be stationed there for the next few days in distributing that vital aid to families all around that area. We have a team focus in Limpopo as well, focusing on the area of Vembe, Piani, and Polabora. We do know the eastern areas in Polabora that's completely cut off. Hopefully by Monday and Tuesday, our teams will be able to move into that area. And then we have a team stationed now at the Kruger National Park to assist the communities and villages around the park. And we thank the park management for giving us the park to work from in assisting those areas around the park that is currently in dire straits.
Now, Ali, you just mentioned as well that, some of the routes have been completely damaged, that you aren't even able to access these villages where people haven't had humanitarian aid. I do note that some of the routes that have been affected on Hoedspruit, Silwana, and in Palabora, if you could just give us a reminder of those routes that have been closed off or affected, but also in the case of those villages where you weren't able to get access, how is that coming along now?
There's been a multiple of national roads and bridges that have washed away in both provinces. So we are very grateful to the provincial and local disaster management teams. When we announced that we are coming through a day before, they will try to map out the area to see which way we can access the area. And they've got graders in place to make special roads to reach the families, or there's a certain point village people will meet our teams in order to receive the vital aid. And here also we have to pay credit where it's due to the faith-based organizations, the churches, religious-based organizations that open up their community halls, that have opened up the churches, accommodating these families currently. And that allows us quicker access into these areas and dealing in a much orderly manner. And with that being said, our teams are working currently with the disaster management teams in mapping out the areas for the next few days. We know both provinces have said if areas are cut off, they will make usage of helicopters to assist us in delivering aid. That we might have to take up that offer in certain areas of Polabora that's completely cut off. We do know the Kruger National Park have assisted us with a chopper that's taking currently the aid from the Kruger and dropping it on the neighbors' villages.
And with all that efforts that you've also been given support by other agencies as well, including the work that you do, considering that the damage is quite vast and in more than one province, just the sustainability of being able to provide this aid, will Gift of the Givers be calling for any sort of donations or assistance from the public?
The spirit of Ubuntu has been overflowing. The minute the community and South Africans saw that our teams are moving to the three provinces, our lines have not stopped ringing. corporate South Africa has come on board, ordinary South Africans has come on board, when it was dropping off one bottle of water at the drop-off center or one can of beans at the drop-off center. It shows the commitment, and where if one province is going through difficulty, we see the response from ordinary South Africans. With that being said, it's going to be a huge humanitarian operation, and the support has been overwhelming. We're getting in support on a daily basis, thus allowing us to stretch our distribution further to the most rural part of the Limpopo and Mpumalanga that has been affected. But it's still going to be a while before we reach all areas. So the support has been ongoing, and there's always a deep call out for non-perishable food items and clean drinking water. But we have to thank all the South Africans who's played a phenomenal role in us distributing aid to all these affected areas.
Ali, thank you so much for speaking to us, and thank you so much for the good work that Gift of the Givers does do on the ground. We will be keeping abreast with those weather conditions and